The fight against ISIL, the U.S.-led coalition is stepping up its air campaign in Kobane, but ISIL fighters are taking even greater control of the Syrian border town despite those airstrikes. CCTV's Michal Bardavid is just over the border in Turkey with this report.
Fighters with the Islamic terrorist group ISIL now control about 40% of the Syrian town of Kobane along the Turkish border. The extremists are continuing to make gains despite U.S.-led coalition airstrikes. Turkish military tanks are nearby, watching the battles, but so far not firing. Many of the Kurds here at the border are furious at the Turkish government for their perceived inaction. They warn that if Kobane falls, there will be serious repercussions for Turkey and a potential further escalation in violence.
If Turkey stays silent, it will be much worse. We know this. In every corner around Turkey, there will be war, people will die, shops will be burned, cars will be set on fire, people will die.
Despite what's happening in Kobane, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan criticized domestic demonstrations calling for action against ISIL.
Turkey is not a country which would determine its domestic and foreign policy based on the violent acts of terrorists and drifters. Both those dummies and the leaders who hold their strings in hand should be aware that Turkey is not a country to be intimidated by street protests and change direction.
Over the past 3 days, more than 30 people have died during protests across Turkey between mainly Kurdish demonstrators and police. The United Nations warns thousands of people will be massacred if Kobane falls to the Islamic terrorists. With no sign the fighting between ISIL and Kurdish forces is going to end soon, many on this side of the border worry about what could happen to the civilians caught in the middle of the Battle of Kobane. Michal Bardavid, CCTV, along the Turkish-Syrian border.